Hello guys, welcome to Khel TV. Well, India played, I think, brilliant against Asian champions Qatar one more time, and I will say India was unlucky to lose the match 1-0. I think the red card, double yellow on Rahul Bheke was a bit harsh. I thought first one maybe was yellow, but second one I think he could have not uh, removed his hand from his body, so that was not yellow. So I think referee was a bit harsh towards us. In the end, I think Igor Stimac also tried to tell referee that that was not second yellow, and referee was telling him that I will send you off. So I think overall on the in this group, talking about in this group, Bangladesh and Afghanistan drew just before India's game, and I think that was a good result for us. And this 1-0 loss, I think it will motivate our player. Also considering the situation our team in right now, if you see Anirudh Thapa, we just got to know that he's tested positive for COVID. So I think he's doubtful for the next game. Also, Roland Borges was injured. Same with Sana was also injured. So I think India did well with that makeshift defense, and considering the midfield we had, I think Glenn did well, but Suresh was brilliant throughout the game, and I think his energy in that midfield, I think, kept India in the game because he was pressing also whenever he got chance, bringing the ball up front, and I think Sunil Chhetri looked decent, but when Manveer moved to number 9 position, I think he looks far better player than he was at right wing. I think Manveer shown some good skills. He could have scored a goal here and there, but I think Qatari goalkeeper read the play very well in those two chances, and I think he came out very fast in that second chance. And India started with the back five. Rahul Bheke as a right wing back, Pritam Kotal as a right centre back, Sandesh Jhingar as a centre back, and Subhashish Bose as a left centre back, and Ashik Kurain as a left wing back. Then you had Glenn Martins and Suresh in midfield. Up ahead, you had Sunil Chhetri in between, and Manveer Singh on right and Bipin Singh on left. I think plan all tactics goes out of the window when Rahul Bheke got sent off, and India did very, very, very well after that. I think Qatari player and Qatari fans will hate somebody like Sandesh Jhingan and Gurpreet Singh Sandhu. I think both have been performing very well for India in these kind of matches. And I think again Gurpreet Singh Sandhu uh, made around, if I see, 10 saves again. Last game against Qatar, he made 11 saves, and there was a fantastic performance uh, by Gurpreet Singh Sandhu again. And then there were lots of doubts by some fans on his position they playing 11. I think he again proved that he is one of the best in Asia. I am joined by Sudesh from Doha. Sudesh, what do you think about India's performance and overall about the game?
I mean, I have to say this is a brave performance because considering how Qatar were playing in this qualifiers and how they went a man down in the 17th minute, I thought they would concede more, and there were chances that Qatar could have scored. But all in all, it's kind of a good defensive performance from a 10-man side. And I wouldn't say it was only because of the good defending that India lost 1-0. It was also because Qatar were not as effective as they were expected to be. So all in all, a game that a game that kind of reminded us of the previous Qatar India encounter, but the only difference was that Qatar somehow managed to get one past a good period Singh Sandhu.
And I will start taking some questions from the fans also. Talking about Gurpreet Sandhu, I think was fantastic, no doubt on that. Now India, I think just if India beat Bangladesh and even they draw against, I think, Afghanistan, it will be enough. I have to just check the scenarios against, but I think India should go for two victories against these two nations. People are giving their hate on the referee. I think referee was a bit harsh on some of the decision on India. Sudesh, what do you think about those two yellow cards to Rahul Beke? Uh, was that yellow card in your eyes?
I think it was a bit harsh, yeah, if you even see the trend kind of thing, uh, even major of offenses earlier in the game, referees kind of try to be calmer and then try to kind of not pull out their cards. But I think the first one was kind of uh, like a situation that could have been a yellow card, but the second one, as Stimac was like shouting at the touchline, it was kind of a bit harsh.
I think we discussed about Manveer Singh and his role before the game in the preview with you and
Yeah.
Pradeep. And I think he's shown that that he should be India's number nine. Do you think so? Do you think Sunil Chetri should be playing just behind him or from the left sided uh, in the left wing role instead of playing as a number nine?
I mean, considering today, Manveer Singh did very well in terms of how the whole Indian team played, if you compare that. And I think Sunil Chetri, for most of the times playing in that position, was neutralized by Abdulaziz Hatem. And the two chances that came in that you mentioned were also due to Manveer's movement and how he, like, tussled around the box. Like, I think Manveer is someone who should play at the number nine position rather than a right wing. He looked far better, noticeably better when he played as a center forward. So I would, in my team, or if I had to play him, I would definitely play him as center forward,
I think
number nine.
also if you see Sunil Chhetri likes to drop deep, and Manveer Singh
Yeah,
he wants to stay on the shoulder with the centre backs. And I think if I'm a centre back, I will hate that kind of player, who is just is standing next to me and waiting for a chance, to run behind. I think the way CMAC finished this match, I think the way in that same way we might start against Bangladesh, because I think Suresh
yeah,
and Lalan Moya in midfield will give India fantastic control and that energy. Suresh was, I think Glenn was good, but I think Suresh, I think looks better to me in throughout
yeah,
the game. His energy in that midfield was fantastic. Glenn Martins was a bit wasteful in that midfield, but you have to consider that India was playing with 10 men and there is not many spaces in the midfield to pass the ball. And I think talking about uh, comments we are receiving right now, Deepak says Manveer might have been scored. Bad luck, I think it was touch and go in those
yeah,
three occasions Manveer could have scored. Uh, and again, Glenn Martin, some saying it's some bad performance, some saying it was good performance. Chinmoy says, well played India, proud of you boys. Last 20 minutes was good, I think, also because India brought in their skillful player, the players of future, especially. I think if you see Udanta came on, and Udanta Kuman did well, considering the form he is in under throughout this season, the pressure he is on. He was brought back in the Indian team. I think he did well after he came after the half time. And if you see that India changed the game, Apuya came at 68 minutes. Apuya gave that better control in midfield as compared to Glenn. Glenn is very good pressing the ball, tackling the ball, but I think Apuya on ball is far better player than any Indian player right now in midfield, if you ask me. Then also, if you see Akash Mishra came, which and after 4 5 minutes, Lister and Sahal also came, and Sahal also shown that brilliant dribbling ability in that last, I think 86 or 87 minute. He dribbled past two players to pass it to Lister Classo. So I think India had their moment. We could have
yeah.
made it 1-1, but talking about Qatar, is it Qatar same like against everyone, or is it just they hate against India? They start taking shots outside the box. Is it just because our defense and our goalkeeper is far better than the defense of goalkeeper they have faced till now?
I think I didn't even understand what was happening in the pitch, especially after being a man up within the first 20 minutes. They had all the possession in the world that they could work on, and they still had like very, they played two forwards today, Mohammad Bandari and Almoez Ali, and they had the physique to kind of trouble the central defenders. But I didn't know what they were doing with their chances. It was Abdul Karim Hassan who was, just shooting from outside of the box, and all the shots were coming outside of the box. Hassan Al Heiros was not even in the game. And trust me, when you see Qatar against other sides, for example, they played in the Europe before this, and they play against some very top quality sides, and they just score with whatever chances they have. Today they had most of the chances, but they were not able to score, and this is the very reason that I refer always towards the previous clash that they had with India, because whenever they play India, their finishing just becomes rustic. And I have to admit, like Sandhu's saves were also kind of reminded us of the previous match. So I don't know what happens, but it was a very like underperforming Qatari side if you consider how they perform with the top sides that they face.
I've been watching Gurpreet Sandhu for very long, and something new he has added in his game is that saves from his feet. I think he made a couple
Yeah,
of saves from his feet, which was like David De Gea type of saves. And I think Sandhu was fantastic, and there is no doubt about it. He's one of the best performing Indian player at the international stage, and it also shows the experience he has playing in Europe. He had played in Europe, one of the top leagues
Yeah.
in Norway, and then also played in Europa League, and one of the first Indian player to play it. There were some questions from some Indian fans, which is of course, will Brendan and Thapa start against Bangladesh? Hirinder, I think Thapa will not, because he has tested positive for COVID. He's in quarantine. I think Brandon might start against Bangladesh. I think that's the reason he might have been rested today so that he can play against Bangladesh. And Raj Star said we need Dheeraj. I think with that performance from Gurpreet, I don't think that we can consider Dheeraj to be ready for the national team. I think Gurpreet give you more control in the box. He can come out for
Yeah.
crosses also, and he also takes very good goal kicks. So there are a couple of more questions. Kumar Gaurav says Apuya was superb. Should have brought him early. Uh, change change should have been there. Chante should have been there. I think you mean that. No Thapa, Suresh or Apuya. I think with no Thapa, Rolvin still injured. If you ask me, I will go with Brendan as a number 10 and Apuya and Suresh in midfield too. I think because India needs to attack more against Bangladesh, they need to score goals. I think that will be a better midfield than fitting in Glenn instead of Suresh or Lalan Muya for the next game. Sana's fitness, I think coach might give some updates in the post-match conference. As of now, we don't have any update on that. I think Thapa is out because of the COVID. Brendan was there warming up, so I think he's fit. He might play next game. So there is another question on Rolvin Borges. Rolvin Borges is still injured, and I think there is a question on India's makeshift centre back. I think what do you think about Pritam Kotal and Subhashish Bose? Blog again asked. I think Pritam Kotal has played that same role at ATK Mohun Bagan. Right-sided centre back. He's right back when he came through India's rank, but I think since in last 3 or 4 seasons he started playing at that right-sided centre back. What do you think about both of them?
Me, right?
Yeah, Pritam Kotal
Yeah.
and Subhashish Bose, who played alongside Sandesh Jhingan in the defense for India.
Yeah, I mean, if you consider the whole defensive line that consisted of those three men, they were kind of not allowing the balls through. Not only the balls, but the players through. And I've not watched them as much as I would have liked because I couldn't unfortunately follow Indian domestic football. But from the performance that they gave in today, I think the central space was kind of very solid with their presence.
Yeah, and I think also very Indian fans in the stadium. I think they were fantastic again. I think they were
Yeah.
the one who was making all the noise, and Qatari fans were just sitting there. I think they might be
Yeah.
in the night off, thinking that this is an easy game. I think heads off to Indian fans again, and I think it's going to be very interesting that what kind of crowd we get against Bangladesh and Afghanistan, because the more and more
Afghanistan.
tickets will be available for the normal public. And somebody asked, Ajay Krishna says Rahul Beke got that card because of the immense pressure made by Qatari team due to the lack of attacking midfielder, and also Ashish should be left wing forward instead of left wing back. I think this has been discussed a lot in past also, that Ashish is an attacking player. He should be used as an attacking player. But considering I think many coaches now started using in Bangalore FC now, Tiger Steamac started using left wing back. So I'm not sure what they see in him as a left wing back. I think he should be playing in the forward line because he's that good. We have seen in the AFC Asian Cup. And my view on the backline, I think Sandesh Jhingan was fantastic. In the start, I think there was a couple of call on Sandesh Jhingan. I think it was one handball
Yeah.
inside the box, and I think early in the game there was another call. I think after that he looked very settled in that defense. Organizing the defense, helping his young players to uh, uh, retain the shape or attack the ball when needed. So I think Sandesh Jhingan coming back into the proper form, for India is a good sign. Another question which come from, I will just take this. If I can pause the chat. Player doesn't deserve, coach is not gonna get us anywhere, need to be sacked. Still, some fans are still wants coach to go. I think we have to wait before asking for sacking of the coach. Let's give 4 games. It's Bangladesh and Afghanistan. If we do well, I think he should be India's coach going into the third round of the AFC Asian Cup, which is very important for India. To go there and qualify for Asia Cup, because we played in Asia Cup last time. So our fan base is divided into two half right now.
Yeah.
One want Igor Stimac to go, one want Igor Stimac to in. I have been saying for very long, and I will say again that I've said in past that I will give him till the end of these qualifiers at least, and then see how where India is. If you qualify for the AFC Asian Cup third round, I think he should be keeping that job because it's not easy to implement the style, and we discussed this in the preview also. Uh, it's at the senior level, it's not that easy to come and to implement a position based style football. So let's see how he does in upcoming games. And as we say, fan base is divided. Aman Kumar says Sahel, give Sahel 90 minutes. So regarding Qatari side, do you think what need to be changed? Do a formation need to be changed? I think their left back looks very good. I wanted to ask about him also. He's what kind of role he has in that in that formation, or does he play similar way in against other nations also? It's just us against India.
No, I mean, I probably think you're talking about Abdul Karim Hassan here because he went forward pretty much today. So today, I was surprised by the lineup that Felix Sanchez put up because normally Qatar would play with three centre backs. Today, they only had two centre backs, and it was kind of a very easy task for Qatar after the 10-man situation because they were winning the duels quite easily in the middle of the pitch. So the only job that they had to do was penetrate to the final third, and I think they failed at that. And talking about Abdul Karim Hassan, I think Felix Sanchez deploys him more as like he gives him the freedom to go ahead because first he has a very good physique, and I don't think there was another defender rather than Sandesh Chingan who was physically competing with the Qatari forwards because other way reading their positioning and everything. I admit that, but in terms of physique, I don't think anyone except Sandesh Chingan were on like toe on toe with the Qatari forwards. And Abdul Karim Hassan, what he brings in the Qatari side is that he is physically strong. So whenever Qatar try to deploy the ball in the box, he gets inside the box, and also he also has a very good long range shooting. So Felix Sanchez wants to kind of use that in his favor. And another thing that happened today, which was very unlikely in Qatar's term, is that Hassan Al Haydos, their captain, started from the left because Akram Afif was not available. So in the left, what we saw today was that Hassan Al Haydos, who generally likes to cut inside and kind of play in the zone 15, zone 14, I guess. Yeah, zone 14. I couldn't see him in zone 14 today. He was just left out wide because Abdul Karim Hassan was inverting very much. So I'm glad that you noticed him because he was frequently getting the ball outside the box and just shooting them towards Sandhu. So yeah,
So
this was quite unusual. Yeah.
I usually make my notes for the Indian players, so I don't until unless I'm talking about I'm talking solo or I'm doing any tactical video.
Yeah.
Of course, I take notes of the opponent player also. But I was seeing the left back given lots of space by India. There's one question here. Hemil says if we don't win against Afghanistan and Bangladesh, then sack him. I think that these two games, the coach should be not pressurized. I think he should be given freedom to do what he want to do, and let's see where India stands after these two games. There is an interesting question for you by Teddy Bear, very interesting name. India is able to control Ali Amos. All India did not give him freedom. Do you agree that he was not able to influence the game that he want, or the way Sanchez want his Ali Amos to do, the influence the game?
Yeah, I think he was pretty much assigned that role today because I don't think it was kind of a situation where he was completely nullified, but it was a situation where he was doing the role that Akram Afif would generally do. Hassan Al Haydos is a kind of player that you wouldn't expect to kind of cross from the wide side, whereas Akram Afif would be a player who would cross and shoot from the left. So today Hassan Al Haydos was playing on the left. That automatically like decreases influence because he likes to move and he likes to get just outside the box to receive the ball. But today that was not the case. So I think he was deployed in that role today by Felix Sanchez, and the fact that he was getting more and more players inside the box who were like comfortable with physicality. It was a testament that Qatar wanted to play that game.
Uh, uh, there are a couple of more questions for Qatar also asked by Indian fans to you. I think they are taking more interest in what Qatar is doing because I think you did an article that what India can learn from Qatar development in
Yeah.
football. I will take some India-centric stuff first because, of course, we are partial to India for sure. Uh, we need to hold ball more. Say it's Sabin. I think that's of course we need to keep the ball. I think we will see better ball position against Bangladesh and Afghanistan. So there is one guy. If I can take his question because he's saying India had 0 shots on target. I think Shuman is asking, what do you think about India's 0 shots in the whole game? Does India progress Stimac brought in his run as an Indian coach? I think considering India played as a 10-man throughout the game, India do made some chances, to score the goals. And I think if one touch here and there, India could have scored at least one goal. And I think I wanted to see that how India versus Qatar, especially this game, 10 versus 11 men would have been gone. With Rahul Beke
Yeah.
sent off by referee, it was not easy for Indian midfield or Indian defender to push up. So they are defending deep, and that's the thing. Another thing which some record which India made, which is and especially Igor Stimac made, are they are unwanted record. This is 11th winless game by India under Igor Stimac, and this is the our highest number of games since we won the game in this century, I think. And I think he will hope that to break this trend against Bangladesh in the upcoming days. I think we are playing against them in 7th. So I think bit interesting that India have 2 games now where they need to win. And I think if we will play on our potential, we should have defeated Bangladesh and Afghanistan in the first previous games also. But I think we can say that India underestimated them, and we just able to drew the match in the end. There were a couple of more questions that yes, peer rating we will do for India, both of us, Mystic, so don't worry about that. Uh, and Kumar Reddy said Qatar will be smacked in FIFA World Cup by other footballing nation. What your take on Sudesh? That what do Qatar need to do, before they play next year, in the World Cup at their home soil?
I think it's pretty much simple in Qatar's terms. I think they definitely have the quality of players. If you just look at today's match, you cannot judge that. I think they have the quality of players that can compete at the Asian level. I wouldn't claim that they would compete. They are yet ready to compete on the world stage. I think what Felix Sanchez and Qatar would be looking to do and should do is playing as much matches as they can, because basically this 23 with one or two players in and out would be their squad for the 2022 World Cup. So I think they would definitely work on and try to kind of indicate their, find their errors. So they will look to play as much as friendlies or as much as matches that they can play.
And these 2 games which India plays against them, I hope you watched the previous game also. I think which was
Yeah.
better game for Qatar, this one or the previous one?
Uh, if you just plainly speak of the fact that they scored one, in terms of just the scoreline, this would be the better game for them. But if you consider that they were playing against 10 men, I think this is also like, this is kind of a paradox, because in Qatar's term, in terms of overall performances, I think they created better chances that previous time, because they were kind of successful in getting the ball through the center instead of just shooting from wherever, shoot on side kind of thing. So it depends on what context you put on, but personally for me, how I watch football and stuff, the previous match was definitely kind of better in terms of how they performed, how what they would take out of it.
Another thing which I want to point out is that after the halftime, I think India looked better team compared to Qatar.
Yeah.
I think Igor Stimac passed the message to the players in the halftime team talk, and India pressed well after the halftime, and I think they tried to attack more Qatari defenders after the halftime. I think I just made my notes also written that India is pressing good in the 47 minute, and I think you talked about physicality of defenders. You have to consider Pritam Kotal is or was a right back, natural right back. He is makeshift right centre back now. Same with Ashish Ghosh, who played as left centre back. He was more of a left back before. So that's why they don't have physicality like Sandesh Jinkar, who is a centre back, or like our other defenders, or like other natural centre back in the world football. I think that's the main reason for India struggling physicality wise. That's why Glenn Martins might be played over somebody like Lalan Moya. So another question for you is, Hirinder, tell us about Qatar Qatar's preparation for the Gold Cup, Concacaf Gold Cup. Are they playing in Concacaf Gold Cup, and how they're preparing for that?
Um, I, I don't have exact information on this, but I guess they have withdrawn for the tournament. I think so. I'm not sure about this, but I guess they have withdrawn from that. But still, um, a few months back, they were the only side that were playing in the uh, Nations League qualifiers and then the Copa America, but they withdrew from Copa America, of course. Like I said, the ultimate goal has been to kind of play as much match as they can within the tight schedule that they have in this domestic season. So, infrastructural wise, like outside of the team, they're preparing so well. Like I've seen the preparations go here, but inside the team, I think the ultimate goal is to prepare for the World Cup and not for any other tournament right now because they've been heavily criticized over the quality that they possess and the free pass that they get when they become a host nation. So I think they're trying to rectify that instead of any particular tournament that comes before that. And also they have a major tournament coming up, the FIFA Arab Cup in December. So they will also play that before that. So I think all of these, like the organization and all the matches that they play, they will just take them as a chance to improve and prove at the grand stage.
Shavik is asking that why we didn't bring them over in a location, give them a training, cause the footballing season ended. We gave coach salary for every month, and why we gave them training always 10 days before the game. Shavik, I think that was the plan to have a camp in Kolkata, then play a couple of friendlies in Dubai. I think it is because of COVID-19, both the things
Yeah.
didn't happen, and I think that's why it's very tough to criticize the coach right now. You have to see that what kind of situation his coaching staff and he was during these preparation for this game. So let's see. I think let's give him the next two games, support Team India for next two game, and let's see how we do against Bangladesh and Afghanistan. uh, so I asked Shavik got his answer. I think Liston might have been come little earlier. Deepak, I think that's the point. India could have brought the fresh legs bit before. I think not just in the end, because Liston and Sahel did look good in that last 3 or 4 minutes when they were on the pitch, and I think we could have scored goal if this match could have been played for 10 more minutes, because I don't think Qatar was looking like to score one more goal. It's India who are looking like to score one more goal.
Yep.
Nitesh Rawat, while Brendan was not there, I think Brendan was kind of rested for next two games. That's the only reason I can give. The kind of form he was in, I think he should be playing. But I think coach gave the statement before the game that he will rotate his team. We've seen that he brought Sunil Chhetri off at the halftime also. So I think Aman Kumar says criticize players. I think let's not criticize players, considering India was 10 men down. I think they did very well. Also in other result, Bangladesh and Afghanistan drew the match just before India game. So that's give India a bit advantage going into the next two games. Sudesh, home country, Nepal, I think defeated Chinese Taipei 2-0. What is the standing of Nepal in this group stage? What kind of form they are in? Are they going into the third round of the Asia Cup directly, or are they going to play playoff?
No, they can go for the playoff because they're second last in their group right now. As of right now, they've just defeated Chinese Taipei, and we're yet to play like the likes of Jordan and Australia. So, a kind of a new coach, and they have won against Chinese Taipei both the times. So, they still have a chance to qualify as the like from the playoff. But you know, as the coach has already said, it's not about this qualifiers, but it's about South Championship that we're preparing about. So it depends on how you look at it. So
Yeah,
they're at the moment, yeah, at the
yeah,
moment they're doing quite good.
yeah, and for Nepal, SAF Championship is like a World Cup, and I don't want to lose against Nepal in the SAF Championship for sure. Some asking how the five subs happened today, because FIFA has allowed all the footballing tournaments and games to have five subs till the end of December 2022, which means the World Cup will also have five subs because the COVID-19. Mohit says Glenn Martins was let down by few players. He was comfortable on the ball. He might be, but I will say Lalan Moya looked more comfortable than Glenn Martins, and maybe India was defending so deep during that phase when Glenn Martins was playing. Might be the reason that he gave away ball couple of times. Why Thapa is not injured? Kirkar Saeed Thapa has tested positive for COVID, so he's quarantined. Let's see that when the next negative test reports come for him, so then only he can join the training and play for India. So it's look unlikely at this stage that he will be involved against Bangladesh from the start. I think if maybe from the bench, but not from the start. Uh, Gaurav says we allowed them to play freely. We didn't press them. There is Vishnav says missed passes were happening a lot. If you guys were composed and played normal, simple passes well, which I was able to see in their first line of sight, we could have played well, says Vishnav. Suman Ghosh says, why do India always gives the ball away? That they get the ball rather than trying to play some passes together and maintain a bit of position. I think it's more of circumstances. If you see that we have a 10 men down and they wanted to make sure that Qatar didn't score more goal after they went one goal up, I think. And if you see in the last 10-15 minutes, India kept ball well, I think, comparing with the first 75 minutes. Shavik says we need a stable midfield and attacking line in our team to improve relationship plus communication, and we need to use Manveer as a striker. Don't use Sunil. Don't use Sunil because of his legacy. Sorry for this opinion. I think Indian fans are now have a mixed opinion on Sunil Chhetri. If you see Sunil Chhetri, and I think Sunil Chhetri is loved equally in Nepal also because of his heritage in Nepal. If you see Sunil Chhetri has played in recent time for India also under Stephen and Igor Stimac from the left side, and I think it's not easy when you stop playing as a number 9, and you stop training as a number 9 to play number 9 at the international stage against Qatar. I think so. You have to give him pass in that. I think he would look better playing from the left side. And what do you think about Sunil Chhetri performance, Sudesh?
Um, I mean, as you said, I know for the fact that he's stopped training as a number 9, and he's kind of not what he used to be. And today, you cannot expect things from Sunil Chhetri, especially in the circumstance that only chances that India were getting were, just long balls or the balls that would land after a dead ball situation. So there were two big defenders, tall and physical defenders in front of him, and I know for a fact that what Manveer does is he can kind of trick them with the movement, or just like I remember one shot that he took, he just sent the defender other way and then try the shot. I don't expect that to do from Chhetri, because first things first, he can for a fact that he cannot win the first balls like Manveer did in that situation, and second, he doesn't have that kind of thing where he can compete like 1 versus 2, but Manveer did in that situation. So I would give a pass on him, and I think it comes down to the system that you play him in. For example, you said you just had a solution to that, like make him come from the left. Like he's more comfortable passing than receiving the ball in those situations where he's guarded by like 3 defenders. So I give a pass on him, and it's up to Stimac to find out.
Yeah, if you see when he was playing also, he was playing very deep, and Manveer touched the defense when he went as a number 9. And the second half, Manveer showed some good skills, If you see the in between the pitch, he tricked the defender, 2 defender with, over the head. I think it was from his back heel, it was fantastic skill showman. Sunil has his own skills and dribbling abilities, but the fact that he has been playing as a left-sided forward for last now nearly 4-5 years ago, and back down 10 years, 2011, if he goes to the Asia Cup 2011 and then the SAF Championship, Sunil was very good going one-on-one against the centre backs. And the fact that he's not playing as a centre back, not playing as a number 9, playing in the games in the last 3-4 years, it's not easy to come into the games like these, and then all of a sudden play as a number 9. So I think coach has and I think he saw that. That's why he brought him back, brought him off so that he can rest him for the next 2 games also. And Sunil Chhetri is the legend, and we don't have we should not be giving any opinion on that. But it's just we want to share some facts about his performance. Another question from Hirinder is, if Qatar can do well against teams like Morocco and Egypt in Arab Cup, they will be ready for World Cup. I think, let's see. Sudesh, what do fans and the media thinks of Qatar chances in the next year World Cup? Do they think that Qatar can win some game in the FIFA World Cup?
You're talking about the local fans, right?
Yeah, Qatari fans.
Yeah.
The Indian fans.
I mean, I have to kind of admit one fact that you don't see that kind of a craze that we used to see back in South Asia with the people here. Like it almost seems like they just are interested
Yeah, let me start my video. Yeah, we'll just go on. Yeah. So sorry guys for the for some issue, technical issue we have just faced. Thank you for staying with us. I think we are talking about Qatar chances in upcoming World Cup, and Sudesh was sharing about how there is difference between South Asian football fans and Qatari football fans. Sudesh, go on.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there is a noticeable. There's been a growth of attendance in the national team matches, but from what I see, it's basically they're more inclined towards the club football thing. They're slowly getting back to their national team, so it's like you don't get a lot of reactions from media that we used to get back in South Asia because people are always kind of wanting to be updated on what their national side is doing. So I think media-wise and the audience-wise, they're kind of progressing so bit by bit. But that's all I can say right now.
Okay, so let's move towards player rating part. So I will give my own rating, then I will ask Sudesh to rate. And if you're giving rating on the chat section, you can write down the player name and give his rating. So we'll take and your opinion also about that particular player performance. So I will take the best comments regarding the performance, which we might not have noticed, in that player performance. So let's start with Gurpreet Sandhu. Sudesh, I think he was fantastic, just like the previous game as against Qatar. I think I will give him around 8.5 for his performance, maybe 9 if we could have kept another clean sheet. What do you think about that?
Despite conceding one goal, which I wouldn't necessarily count in this case because it could have been worse for India. So I would give him a 9. Just for the saves and then everything that he did.
I think I will ask
Simply fantastic.
our viewers. I think we have passed. It's 1:14 a.m. right now, and we still have over 100 people watching. And after even the technical glitch, so let us know about what do you think about Gurpreet Singh Sandhu performance and how much you will rate him out of 10. I think he was good. I think, and he has also shown to the Indian football fans who are raising some question, raising some opinion on his place in the team. I think so. And let's move towards Rahul Beke. I think for yellow, it was a bit harsh, but it was we know why ref gave the yellow because he came with both hand, on the Qatari player, and that was yellow. But second yellow, I think bit harsh, but considering that he considered these two yellow in the matter of less than 10 minutes, I think uh, out of 10, I will just give him 2. What do you think, Sudesh?
Ratings unavailable. Like I wouldn't rate it on the basis of
I
that.
just
Like
rated him 2 to start the
unavailable.
match. They started
Yeah, no.
at least 17 minutes, and we know that Rahul Beke and there are a couple of players, Rahul Beke, Purnay Haldar, Indian team who concede these kind of cards, and of course rating unavailable for you.
Yeah.
What the people think about the Rahul Beke's performance? Uh, somebody saying 0.999 for Rahul Beke, some saying 10, so that's interesting. Kirkar Sunny says 0.1 for Rahul Beke. Somebody gave 5 to Rahul Beke. That's interesting. For
Interesting.
Yeah, do write the player name while you giving the ratings. And let's move towards the our right center back Pritam Kotal. I think Pritam Kotal did well in whatever opportunities he had to attack, and he was defending well alongside Sandesh Jingan. Considering all the attacks from Qatari side coming from their left side, I think they kept the score line to 1-0. I think I will give Pritam Kotal 6 out of 10. What do you think, Sudesh?
Yeah, it was a kind of decent performance when you consider that there were a lot of attacks coming from the Qatari side. So I would probably give him a 7 just because he was quite good at what he was assigned to do and what he was supposed to do, and he exactly knew when to attack and when to not, when to match the lines shoulder to shoulder with Sandesh Chingan. So I would give him a 7.
And most of the people also agreeing with us. So Kirkar Sunny says Kotal did well, 6. Hemil says Kotal 7. Vipresh says Kotal 6.5. I think everybody agrees that Kotal was in that 5 to 7 range. Tushar says Kotal was 7. Dev says 6.5. And now let's move towards the Sandesh Jingan. I think Sandesh Jingan, other than those first 10 minutes, I think throughout the game he looked very comfortable on the ball. He brought the ball also. I think we played couple of those long balls between the lines for
Yeah.
Indian for attacking player to chase. I think he looks good to me. I think I will give Sandesh Jingan 7. And also he looked bit rusty in some cases. So I will give him 7. What do you think about Sandesh Jingan, Sudesh, and to our viewer also? What do you think about Sandesh Jingan?
I would say, all in all, a solid performance. Like, he picked up very good from where he started. There were some clumsy moments, I admit, and there was a disputed penalty call that happened within the first 20 minutes or so. So I would necessarily also give him like 7.5, not just 7, because
You are
7.5 and
you are very generous with your rating, but just didn't give Rahul Beke a single rating. So
no, in these terms, I'm so far score.
so okay, everybody says Sandesh Jingan 8.5, Nikhil says Sandesh Jingan 8.5, Pradeep says Sandesh Jingan 7.5, Hemil said Sandesh Jingan 8.5, Aman says Sandesh Jingan 6. Uh, uh, Rapper Black Pepper says, "Bhai, when players like Ronaldinho comes in India, then Indian government has to show like मन की बात, जहाँ बच्चों को knowledge आए, but Ronaldinho को मंदिर लेके चले जाते हैं." So that's how we do things in our this part of the world. So let's move to Subhashish Bose. I think Subhash, just like Pritam Kotal, he did well in that sided center back. I will give him 6 because Sandesh is 7 for me. So I'll give Subhashish Bose 7. What do you guys think about Subhashish Bose performance? Sudesh, your rating for Bose?
Um, I kind of saw him throughout the game because of the fact that he was pronounced very differently by the Arabic commentator here. So no, I just noticed him, but he was not as apparent as the other center back for me. So it's basically 6.5 for me.
Yeah, so you again 0.5 more than me. Let's talk about Ashik. I think Ashik was a guy who was playing with the mask. He has some problem his nose also, which he got injured while playing in ISL. So I think Ashik was looking good when he was attacking. I think in defense, of course, he's not a natural defender again. He looks sometimes shaky. But that one ball to Manveer we played in the first half, that cross from left side, and Manveer, I think he had if he could have been a bit faster, could come ahead of the defender, he could have scored the goal. And
Yeah.
considering the goalkeeper fumble one more time, and he had another chance. I think attacking wise, Ashik has a good performance compared to the. Of course, Rahul Beke was not there throughout the game, but Ashik was good. I think I will give Ashik 7 just for his attacking contribution and running up and down on that left wing. What is the rating for Ashik Kuran, Sudesh?
Yeah, undoubtedly, Ashik was attacking quite good, and he was kind of delivering those long balls. But um, you know, on his side was a player called Musab, who is quite new to Qatari side, and he was getting past Ashik too frequently, as I've observed in the first half. So on the basis of that, I would give him a 6.5 as well.
Because Ashik, as I said, he's not a natural defender, as compared to because he was a kind of centre forward couple of years back, then left winger, and now left wing back, and that's what is happening in Indian football with our attacking player because some ISL team playing them in that unnatural position. I think he looked good. Moving in midfield, I think Glenn Martins on his debut, first India game, I think he looked comfortable. Because India did not have much space in the midfield to pass the ball because after Rahul Beke was sent off. I will give Glenn Martin 6.5. What about you guys and Sudesh? What is the rating for Glenn Martins?
I mean, just on the basis of when Glenn Martins played for India, like India were defending too deep, and I don't think there was a viable midfield available in that particular point of time because they were at one point of time the backline and the midfield were kind of merged with each other because Qatar was kind of handling the ball so well. So Glenn Martin, whenever he got the ball and whenever he was called to serve, he was quite good. So I would also give him a 6.5.
Okay, now moving towards Suresh. I think I like the Suresh performance. I think he was India's best midfielder. Even when Lalan Moya came, I think the energy he has shown throughout the game, it was fantastic, going up and down, pressing, and he was leading the press also. If you see in the second half, I will give Suresh 7. What do you think about Suresh's performance and how much you will give him?
Exceptional work rate. I would say the energy was definitely there, and as I pointed out in the first half, the main problem was that India was giving Qatar the time or where the possession that they wanted to keep, just that they were blocking just outside of the box. So whenever they pressed, this player was always there. So same as you, the same rating.
Yeah, Ajay says Suresh 7. Kirkar Sani says Suresh 6. Ajay Chakre says Suresh 7. Vaishnav Negi says Suresh 8 for tenacity and stamina. I think he
Yeah,
was looking like
undoubtedly.
best player in terms of fitness in the pitch. Not just the Indian team. I think he was looking better than some of those Qatari players. The Qatari players were getting tired in the second half, and I think Suresh had that engine in him to run up and down in that midfield. I think it was good. Talking about Manveer Singh, I think. Uh, could have been hero to if he could have scored at least 1 or 2 goal. But I think overall playing as a number 9, it's not an easy job, especially when you are down to 10 men. I think I will give Manveer 7 for the work rate and for the effort he has shown. Considering that Indian didn't have much to attack in the first half. In second half we had bit of space and more chance, we created more chances. What do you think about Manveer Singh performance, Sudesh?
Okay, I would just pass on a general comment on this. Like, I've not seen many forwards that have come up from South Asia that are that naturally like a number 9. Like, I mean, center forwards are here, but like, I quite enjoyed his performance in terms of the movement. But as you said, there were a few hiccups, and then and that I would just give him a 6.5 based on how he performed, not with the ball, but without the ball as well. He
Yeah.
was quite good with his movements.
Talking about South Asia, I think if we're talking about strikers, I remember Baichi Bhutia for India, Alias Park for Maldives,
Yeah,
Sunil.
for Maldives.
Yeah, and even if you talk about Nepal, also the Bimal Gati Magar, Anil Buran, these all are secondary strikers. They are not a number 9, and because of our physique, we don't get many number 9s in South Asia. Hopefully, Manveer Singh can change the trend, not just for India, for South Asia also. So talking about Sunil Chetri, I think it might be a bit controversial and some might not agree to me, but I will give him 6 out of 10. It did well in some cases, but I think he didn't look comfortable playing at that number 9 position. What do you think about Sunil Chetri, Sudesh?
Um, Honestly speaking, like he was kept out of the game for quite long because of how the team played. He had very few chances to, or he had very few instances where he could get in the ball. So considering that, I would give him a 6.5.
Okay, Kirkar Sani says Sunil 5, Teddy Bear says Sunil 6. Aman Kumar is spamming one comment again and again. I don't know who is going to score in coming matches because Indians don't know how to finish. अमन भाई मैंने आपका कमेंट ले लिया है. अगर आप स्पैम करेंगे तो मेरे लिए इजी होगा बाकी लोगों के कमेंट देखना भी. सो प्लीज आप कुछ और कमेंट जरूर लूंगा. स्पोर्ट्स अपडेट एंड रिव्यू से सुनील 5. तो सुनील वॉज नो वेयर से केरकर सनी. प्रदीप सिंह से सुनील 6. अमन कुमार सुनील 3. टेडी वेयर सुनील 5. हिमांशु 7. आकाश से सुनील 6. Yeah, Chetri bhai game was very quiet. I think he will look better against Bangladesh if he start from the left side. And somebody said we have to research on how to finish. And I think this is the also problem for Nepali football. And Sudesh is Nepali, so I just want to tell. I think there was some comment made by Blatter, if I remember, FIFA president in 2012 or 13. That Nepali team is so good in terms of football, but they don't have a finisher. I think if they get Messi or something, I think he made this kind of comment when was.
No, I know the quote. He was like, Nepal is basically Barcelona without Messi. So
Yeah.
he quite meant that.
Yeah, so that's quite an impressive quote, and he made another quote for India, like a sleeping giant, and we're still sleeping, sadly. So let's when the Giants.
And we
Yeah.
still haven't found our Messi, so it's even.
Yeah. So talking about Bipin Singh, we had Thongbai Singh to before the game. He's one of the best Indian coaches we have. Bipin Singh came under him at Shillong Lejong, from through the youth ranks, and he was telling about what Bipin Singh is all about. And I think Bipin Singh showed his quality again. The limited attacking threats in the first half. I think decent performance. I will give him 6.5. I gave Chetri 6, so I think he looked a bit better than Chetri. What do you think about Bipin Singh?
I mean, I could see him in the game. He was running with the ball, and I think he started from he ran from the left in quite a few occasions. And I was watching a game with a few of my Nepalese friends, and Bipin Singh was the only player that they were like, "Oof, this boy can run," and it was quite
And
visible.
also
Yeah.
his hairstyle.
Yeah. Exactly. That was also a factor, but you could actually see him with the ball, and you could actually see the work that he had put on. And considering that India had limited chances, he also had some role to play in the limited chances that you guys created. So it's if Chetri has to be 6, it would be 6.5. Bipin Singh for me.
Yeah, and Tushar Sawant says Bipin 7. Imagine this team without Sandesh's Hemil. Bipin 6 for Pradeep Singh. Akash says Bipin 7. I think so. We everybody, us and the viewer also have a kind of a similar rating. So that's great because I think everybody agreed on Sunil Chhetri rating also. Moving towards subs now, Udanta Kuban came at the start of the came just before start of the second half. I think I'm a big fan of Udanta, especially I think Udanta used to score tons of goals for India's youth teams. I think if I remember, he scored twice against Nepal at under 16 level. So I've been watching him since
Yeah.
those days, and it's now he's I think 23, 24 now. I think he did well in the second after coming on. I think he played one brilliant ball, if I remember correctly, to I will have to just check to Banmir. I think from right side, and I think he pressed them well. Also, he was going behind, and showing some tricks also. So I think I will give Udanta 6.5 because he's just coming from the bench also and played just 45 minutes. What do you think about him?
The work was definitely there. Like he led the press when he came in, so I would also give him a 6.5.
Yeah. Keika Sunny says Udanta 5. Udanta didn't see the ball much, 6 for whatever he was able to get. I think that's the point also with Vaishnav Negi,
Yeah.
because Qatar was attacking more from that side, and it's not easy when you have their left back on the top of our box always shooting, so he needed to defend the also sometime. Teddy Bear says Udanta 5.5. Pradeep Singh says Udanta 5.5. Udanta 6.5 said Vig. So that's interesting. Now moving towards another sub, Lalan Moia. I think one of the exciting Indian player coming through, and the kind of money. So just for Sudesh knowledge, he's a Northeast United player, and there is 1 year 1 year left in his contract. And I will tell you the amount of money Northeast is asking other Indian clubs. They're asking for 3 crores Indian rupees.
Mm.
And even when they just have 1 year left in his contract, and he's shown that why his parent club is asking for that amount of money. Played in under 17 World Cup for India, so he's another player coming through the ranks for India. I think he's shown some skills after coming from the bench. I will give him 6.5 because again he was coming from bench. Maybe 7 for me. What do you think about him?
Yeah, I've heard quite like about him when I covered Kerala Blasters for the Nutmeg Assess. So there were buzz around him, and of course with the under 17 World Cup, and he was quite apparent. And this was actually my first time watching him after the under 17 World Cup. So it's basically a 6.5 for me as well, because he
Yeah,
came on
so
from the bench. I would, yeah, based on what I saw today, I would love to see him start anytime soon.
yeah, I think that's what commentator also saying. The Indian commentator Anand Tyagi and Darren, I think they were saying that he is, I think, couple of games away from to start for India. And I think let's see if he start against Bangladesh or not. Emil says Apuya 7. Pradeep Singh says Apuya 7. Akash says Apuya 7.5. Vaishnav Negi says Apuya was an 8 for the small time he was in the game. He looked so composed. Uh, uh, Precious 1, definitely an 8 for me. I think it's a bit controversial to give 8 for a sub who came at, I think if I remember, 68 minutes of the match. So I think 6.57 is a good rating for Apuya. Apuya gave the easily at extra time. I will give him 5.5. Uh, yeah, so somebody says my audio volume is bit less. Yeah, I just brought down my audio because there is some echo in my audio also. So I think it should be a bit louder now. So I just increase the audio level. Uh, so moving towards next two subs, and then Liston Classo Sahel came at very late 85 minutes. But I think they've shown that spark in the attack, so I think it's not fair to rate them for those 5 minutes. But I think Sahel was the number 7, by the way. Sudesh, so what do you think about both of these lads? They should be, I think, knocking on the doors of on the Igor Stimac to start the games.
I see you're still not over the Constantine days. Moving on. So, Sahal, for Kerala Blasters and under Kibu, he was absolutely brilliant, and I always wanted to see him in the Indian team jersey. So, of course, it was just like for 5 minutes, but I think he's a good prospect because based on what I've seen him do on the Indian Super League. So no ratings for now because they really entered very late, but I would definitely love to see them on the future days because number 7, and he is kind of a creator. So
Yeah.
like I actually like him. Yeah.
Yeah, just moving toward the last part of the show, and people who have not watched the pre-match, just before the game, we did a live with Thangba Singh, and he also talked about Sahel because he have coached him at Kerala Blaster, and he talked about that what Sahel need to do, and I think you guys should watch him after this live stream. You can go to that live stream and watch his thoughts on Sahel. I think he's still coaching with Hyderabad FC, and kind of players Hyderabad FC is playing. I think his opinion is. Is, is mattered. I think if you ask him, if you ask him, because he has been in Indian for very long. Now talking about Igor Stimac, somebody says great Igor Stimac. So people know I'm critical of him, but I have been saying that give him until the end of the qualifiers and then see where India is standing after these 3 games. I think I will give Igor Stimac, a point that he's shown courage to change his formation. Coming into game like this, he usually plays 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1. Coming into the game like this, we did not have somebody like Sana who's injured. Adil is out of form. Then he's maybe first two choice midfielder Robin Borges and Anu Thapa, ruled out before the game. So I think he's shown that he can change his formation. Of course, the red card didn't help him, but after that also he motivated his team, and we saw what he might have talked in the halftime team talk, because team looked different in the second half, and his changes he made, Udanta, Apuya, Sahel, Leston, Sahel Leston came late, but I think they tried to change the game. So I will give Igor Stimac around 7.5 for the work and for the thinking process. What do you think about it? And people might say that sometimes they say that I am critical of him, but I will give him 7.5 for this game. So Desh, what do you think about that?
I think playing 73 odd minutes without your 11th man, and it would be unfair to judge him on the basis of 11 versus 11. So I would judge him on the basis of how he managed the 10 men after the red card. And I think the Indian management was so good because before the send off, Qatar were actually finding spaces in Indian defense, and they were quite getting through the center space. But after the 10 men situation, the defense was quite composed for the first half, and in the second half we all know what happened because India were kind of dominating in the second half. So for the in-game management, I would give him like a 7.
Uh, yeah, I think, and again, if we don't win next 2 game, then all the hard work we done against Qatar in the legs goes out of the window, and then all the people who are supporting him might come out and say that we might need to sack him. So people are saying just rate the referee. I will give him 4 out of 10. I think of course I'm biased towards India, so my rating should not be considered, but I still give him 4 out of 10. So Desh, who was neutral and who was in Qatar, so what do you think of referee? How much you give him out of 10? You don't need to be biased like me.
No. I'm not biased, but I think it was pretty harsh on the Indian side. So not 4, but I would give him 5. But I would definitely be conclusive that it was not a kind of refereeing display that we would like to see at this level.
I think both the fouls which Rahul Beke did, um, if he was on a single yellow, if he was not on a yellow, then you can give a yellow for each of them.
Yeah, yeah,
I have no issue because sometimes referees also need to manage the game. If you see game in the Champions League, between Chelsea and Manchester City, the referee didn't show the card. I think till very late. He was allowing the game to flow. And today referee was brought in the game down in between. So if he was not on yellow, I can imagine that you can give yellow for each of them separately. But considering that he gave that yellow for first foul, and that was the first foul for Rahul Beki in the game, because that's an 8th minute, and usually nowadays in world football, what happens that referee give warning, after a couple of fouls that if one more fouls, I will give you yellow card, and
yeah.
he gave yellow card on the 8th minute, and then again just after that another foul, and he gave straight away red card. I think he could have won for one of those foul, and might have not give the second yellow on the 17th minute. That's what I think, because seeing the European football, nowadays referees are allowing to game to play. They're not stopping the game after every minute.
Yeah.
We just saw that in the Champions League also, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen enough videos about referees saying about like delaying their first card, because after that they have to be critical of every single foul that happens after that, and it just interrupts the tempo of the game. I can remember the 2010 World Cup final where there were like cards everywhere because he just couldn't stop after handing out the first card. And I don't think in the 17th minute, like as you said, those two fouls might have been the first yellow, but in the 17th minute, definitely handing out a second yellow um, would be like is not favorable in terms of like what we see in the European football, and I think that's not the way to go. Although he knows better than me because he's officially like a referee, but we don't see that very often.
Yeah, and of course, as an underdog, India is underdog, Nepal is underdog. We want referees to be to be bit neutral sometime.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
yeah,
as
and
yeah,
another thing that yeah, another thing that like you could imagine this in this scenario. Like you could definitely see Qatar, pressurizing India, and they were all over India when he gave out the second yellow. And you would definitely see all the falls coming against the Indian side because they were put under pressure. And under pressure, like you could not see Qatari players doing that kind of fall in their own thirds, right? So it would just be harsh and it just get worse for India after he handed out the second yellow. So I think that should not be a case, and that shouldn't have been the case in today's match.
considering that you're watching with the Arabic commentary, I think you had a better audio from the stadium because we are watching on the
Yeah,
commentary in India, which was done from Mumbai, by the way, and they had Indian commentary over the Arabic commentary, so noise from the ground was a bit less. Uh, how do you rate Indian fans? Considering I think there were just few of them on the one stand only, majority of them from Kerala, by the way.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, Indian fans are always like not only Indian, but South Asian fans are always, supporting their team no matter wherever they are. I remember going to like a local cup that they organize here. It's called the Workers' Cup. Like they invest in every single thing that happens. So there are like 32 teams. You can imagine like all of out of migrant workers, and there are 32 teams. And the final was played in the exact same stadium uh, that Qatar and India play today, and the stadium was full. And if there were no restrictions, I could easily imagine Indian fans filling up the stands, provided that they were handed out enough tickets. But
Yeah.
there are
So
reservation, and for Indian fans, it would be like 9 out of 10 because all the noise and all the drums that were coming in, it was from the Indian stands.
yeah,
The Qatari fans were just having another
night out.
Thursday evening. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was
So
just another Thursday evening where they're chilling.
yeah, so just talking about the number of tickets in the first game against Qatar, Indians fan brought the majority of the tickets, and then later on, Qatari FA, they limited the number of tickets Indians can buy, and India had majority of the fans in the stadium, and I think, and that's why India played very very well against Qatar on those in the first game also and today also. I think fans push player to the extra level, and that's what football is all about. Football is all about fans, and we have just seen in Europe also with the European Super League coming in and how the fan protested all across the Europe regarding and they
Yeah.
forced the club to change the decision. We have 167 likes on our video. We still have lots of people watching. It will be great if you're liking what we are doing here. You can like the video and also subscribe to our channel. We will be doing more and more content on Indian football and Indian football team in upcoming days. Sudesh is in Qatar. He will be going to the next game against Bangladesh. So we will have something more for you guys from stadium, and we will have a pre-match against pre-match video for Bangladesh game coming to our channel very soon, in which we'll have somebody from Bangladesh talking about Bangladesh football and what they're doing, and uh, how they can play against India, because they did well against in Kolkata. So this, before we wrap this up, any thoughts regarding the game? What should be India doing going into the Bangladesh game?
What we need to understand is that they were playing a very superior side today in terms of quality and in terms of the development that Qatar has done late. And the main problem that I saw, or the main thing that I saw, was India was not being able to win the midfield duels that were happening in the middle. So we can expect to see a lot of midfield, like ball in the midfield in the next games, because they will be playing a side that are in their level or slightly below them. So I would definitely see India scoring from here on. And all in all, it was just a goal down, which was very unfortunate that because they were limited to 10 men in the first 17 minutes. But still, a very great performance, like the previous time. The only difference was the goal.
Okay. Another thing is I want to say I have also written on my notes that India was losing the midfield battle in the 33
Yeah.
on the 33 minutes. I think just before we wrap up, we'll take a couple of questions and football is all about discipline and trusting each other. If our player work on their game instead of how much salary they were getting, then of course we will compete teams like Germany. Says rapper, black pepper, interesting name. So I will just take a couple of more questions before we wrap this up. And again, if you're watching, you can hit, if you have not hit that like button, please hit that like button. Mission 2026 said Tushar Sawant. Shavik says, is there a way to appoint a ISL coach in the Indian team like Lobera, Juan? Indian players need to improve their decision making plus footballing intelligence. I think, of course, Albert Roca was running for the Indian national team coach post before Igor Stimac was appointed. So, of course, they can be appointed. It's not that they can't be, but I don't think to have a coach who is also coaching in club football is beneficial for any national team. So I think it's better that we have a different coach. It may be from ISL, but it should be doing full-time India job, not the club plus India job. AFC under 23 qualifiers in October. What do you think of India under 23 team? But you think, as we know, we don't know who are the under 23 team because we don't have an active India under 23 team. And if you're watching this channel for a couple of months now, you will know that I have been very vocal of the fact that India need to have their under 19 and under 23 team active, not just when the qualifiers are here, throughout those 4 years, so that we have the next generation of player coming up, and we can always test these young players in under 23 and under 19 game instead of testing them on the senior level. Do you think Sahel should move to another ISL club team like Hyderabad for his future growth instead of staying in Kerala Blaster? Killer 88 Snake. I think very interesting, Killer 88 Snake, because same thing Thongbai Singto also said in the pre-match that I want him to move out of Kerala Blaster where he has less pressure and where the teams are winning the match so that he can show his skill and his technical ability more. So I think it's a bit interesting. Let's see how Sahel do this season for upcoming season for Kerala Blaster. And also you have to consider Kerala Blaster every season has a new coach, so it's not easy,
Yeah.
to adjust in for different system for different coaches. So let's see who they appoint and how Sahel do for Kerala Blaster in upcoming season. There's another question. Okay, I think we have to bring people under him, training him. So I think okay. So I think we're getting a same question now. So just I will wrap this up. I think hopefully India will able to win both the game against Bangladesh and Afghanistan, and I think India should be going again back to 4-2-3-1 against Bangladesh. Maybe
Mhm.
start Pritam Kotal as a right back. Then you can have Sandesh Jingan and Subhashish Bose as a centre back. Sana, if he's fit, he can start, and then you can have Akash Mishra as a left back because he is left back by his own position. He's not a makeshift left back like Ashish. And then have somebody like Lalit Mohia and Suresh in midfield, and then have somebody like Brendan as a number 10, Sunil Chhetri on a left, Manveer Singh up front, and you can have Bipin Singh or Udanta Kumar on right. So that will be playing against Bangladesh. We'll talk about India Bangladesh game in our preview. So do join us for that preview also. And any more question before we wrap this up in next 1 minute? It will be shameful if we can't show against Bangladesh and draw the game. I think that's the more important than this game. We did well against Qatar, but we need to do well against Bangladesh and Afghanistan. So this will go out of window if we don't do well against against the Bangladesh and Afghanistan. ISL, of course, we'll talk about ISL later because this is national team video. So let's stick to national team. Hazara says, what is the chance in Asia Cup 23 till now for India? India need to finish third to qualify for the Asia Cup third round. And if India finish fourth, then they need to make sure that they are best fourth place team,
Yeah.
fourth place who will go directly to third round. Or if we don't, then we have to play the playoff. And playoff will be the home and away game, so it will be a bit tricky. You can get a good country and then you might be out of the qualifiers. So it will be interesting to see that how Igor Stimac set up his team against Bangladesh because Bangladesh game became very important. You have to defeat Bangladesh so that against Afghanistan also feel the pressure because they have drew against Bangladesh. Thank you very much. I think we should sign off now. It's very late in India. It's already 1:46 a.m. I think Sudesh has a couple of more hours before you hit to the bed. Sudesh, thank you very much, and hopefully we will get more from you from Qatar. And considering that you're going for the next game, so you are hoping where you will sit among Bangladesh fan or among Indian fans.
I don't know yet. They just put out the tickets, so either way works for me. I'm just there. Like they just allow one ticket for both the games, so I think I will just watch both the games, and it begins from 5 p.m. in the evening, and then it just continues towards the end of the second match. So I
Okay,
think I will attend
so you
both the
will watch
matches.
Qatar versus who Qatar playing on that day.
I think it's Oman.
Okay, Qatar versus Oman, then India versus Bangladesh. Killer 88
Yeah.
Snake says, do you think Chetri being substituted at halftime is a sign of baton handed over? I don't think we should not judge that serve that much because considering the situation we are in, I think he might be saving Chetri for the next game because we need goal scorer in the next game. So we'll talk about India versus Bangladesh match in upcoming video. So do join us for that video also. Thank you guys for joining us. I think we will add this end this live streaming here. I think thank you for very much for your support and love. And if you are not like this video, do hit that like video. I think we should be hitting that 200 likes, before this video ends. Thank you very much. Good night to everyone.